Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the 1/12 collective, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface figure from Mezco Toys. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not just one of my favorite horror movies, one of my favorite movies, period, of all time, and Leatherface is straight up one of my top 3 favorite horror villains of all time. So the question is this selling me on the whole Mezco 1/12 thing? Well, let's talk about that. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, this figure looks spectacular, and I've got to say, I've only ever seen Mezco figures, on video or pictures of them. So like, I've never had one in hand, and having one in hand like this, I'm impressed. Just the amount of detail they get, the amount of accuracy they get at this scale is just absolutely unreal. And let's start off by looking at this default head, and just tons of detail, just a perfect pretty much wash over it. All the details even in the mask, the way it's tied off, the kind of flaps here around the ears, the eyes here behind the mask, just everything just 100% accurate, looks amazing. The build of the figure itself, just in terms of like proportions, I think looks pretty much perfect. And what's kept me away from buying the NECA Leatherface is just that I hate the proportions on that figure, and Mezco here absolutely just nailed it. It looks perfect, and then we get to the clothing, which is a hallmark of Mezco's 1/12 lines, and it just looks insane. That even there's like, first off, the cut is just like it's little clothes, even the back, and just everything 100% accurate. It's amazing. Not only that, but you do get like stains here and there. Just nicely done, like nothing over the top. It just really sells the realism here. And see the belt here, pretty much the crazy intricacy there on the belt buckle itself, the way the pants are cut, just everything just 100% sells this figure. And obviously we've seen a lot of Leatherface figures, and the tie for me just always kind of looks cartoonish on a lot of them. It doesn't here. It just, again, looks as it did in the movie. Just absolutely insanely good looking figure. And then we get accessories, and by the Ancient Ones, the accessories. So let's jump right in. Let's not waste any time. We're actually going to start here with the stand, and we do get a stand here. You can see that classic artwork, the classic poster for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Very well done. This is just kind of a sticker on this kind of cream colored base. And then for that, we actually get an arm for flight stand. And Leatherface doesn't do much flight stuff or jumping or anything like that, but it's there, or at least just to keep the figure in place, which is pretty cool. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know where this goes on this stand. Oh, I guess that would pop out. Okay, we got that. Then let's get into hands. So right out of the box, as we normally get with a lot of figures, we just get a pair of fists. Then we get a pair of grasping hands. All of these have like a amazing amount of grime on them, so again, just adding to that realism. Then we get a pair of kind of standard gripping hands. Then we get a pair of slightly angled gripping hands, pretty much for the bar on the main accessory here. And then we get a couple of relaxed hands. Then we move on to blood effects, and first off, we get this blood bucket. Just insane details here. Love the way they kind of did the blood coming down here. Nice translucency here at the top. You can see even that swirl. Just very, very nice touch. The handle does move as well. Then we get separate effects. So we get this piece. Then we get an impact blood piece. And finally, we get this kind of arched blood piece. So just crazy stuff all around. Then we move into, there's so much, I'm actually losing my place here. 3 different head sculpts. So we looked at the first one, the one that Leatherface is most known for, of course, just insane work. We looked at that in detail. Then we get the old woman mask, and some really nice yellowing on that as well. And you can see the eyes peering out. Really nice wash here on the hair. Just, again, details all around. We see the kind of hole there at the top, just very well done. Then finally, we get the pretty lady mask with the makeup on there, and just beautifully done here. I mean, again, just like little details like over here with a little bit of extra piece under the mask. And yeah, just insane work here from Mezco. Then we move on to clothing, And we get 3 separate looks here. So, you know, he has his base clothes on, but simply by adding either this business jacket which would be the look he had at the end of the movie, or this gingham apron, again, to go with the old lady head. And then finally, you know, of course, the butcher's apron, and this is wired as well, so you can get some really cool action stuff going on there, which is really nice. You can see for the ties here, it's just this big loop. You just kind of pull these through and then tie them in the back of the figure. It's actually easier than I thought it was when I first took this out of the package. And then finally, we of course have the implements of pain, as it were. This one, I am afraid of losing so much. This little like bone knife, like beautiful sculpt. It's definitely a hard plastic, so you know, be very, very careful with it. But like just the amount of detail going on here is just amazing. Got these couple rivets on this side of the bone. The bone itself is just like crazy, crazy sculpt. Then we get a butcher's knife, some blood splatter on it, beautiful design, perfect shade of silver going on there. Then we get the hammer, the ball peen hammer, I believe this is. Again, just beautiful, beautiful sculpt all around, especially aging on the handle there. And then the most important accessory, the chainsaw, and just so much detail going on here. Certainly with the blade. Of course, we got our handle. We got all the pieces that you would see on an actual chainsaw here with the vent, the pull. I know it's not called the pull, good. But come back here and we got just all these other pieces. The blade here and this piece do come off, and there are 2 button cell batteries that come with this. And this is a button right here, and we actually get chainsaw sounds. And that revving goes on forever. So I'm gonna just talk over this. But yeah, so that will do it for accessories. When it comes to articulation, we got some pretty good stuff here. And I'll be honest, I started putting it into the freestanding kick pose, just kind of, you know, as a lark, as a joke. I didn't think it was gonna hold it, but I did get it there. I mean, honestly, this kick actually looks pretty sick. So I think that's awesome. But yeah, obviously we're gonna be limited because of the clothing, but actually still pretty good stuff going on here. So our head, we are on a barbell joint coming into the neck, and that pretty much gets us everywhere. We can look down pretty much all the way. We can look up all the way. We can look all the way to the side. I mean, just absolutely insane amounts of room there. We get to the shoulders. I do not feel any butterflies. So it looks like we're hinge and swivel here. We can come out into a T. In terms of raising our arms, work with the clothes, and actually I can get higher with the left than I can with the right. I will also say, actually, I'll make that point when we get to the elbows here in a second. So we do a bicep swivel as well. And we have double jointed elbows, but they bring us actually really well. Pretty much, you know, as you can see, definitely past 90 a little bit. I over articulated the right arm on mine, so now I'm treating it super gingerly, and I popped the bicep out, and getting it back in was a little bit of an adventure, but we did get there. So just be very careful with these. You know, again, it popped out, it was fine, but just definitely more of an ordeal than I would like it to be. Then we get our wrists, and we have those kind of SH figure art style joints, so we can pretty much go anywhere we want, side to side, up and down. So that's excellent. We get rotation. We do have a joint here. It feels like a ball joint at the top of the diaphragm, and not too much on the crunch. Almost any. We do get a little bit of rotation. We get some rotation at the waist as well. The shirt is attached to the pants, so definitely don't push it. Again, so there's our crunch. Not really too much back, just a little bit, and a little bit of side to side as well. But again, you know, it's Leatherface. You don't need to be doing any gymnastic stuff. Coming out of the hips, we're coming out about that far. Not full splits. Again, do not need to do that with this character. Although it would be cool and I would appreciate that. When we come into the front kick, so we're coming to about there. There is a thigh swivel under there. You can see that moving a little bit. For our knee bend, we're definitely getting past 90, so beautiful there. We do get some boot cut. You can see that, and it is sculpted all the way up too. So we do get that cowboy boot, and then we get some decent point, some okay forward, and then some rocker. So that will do it for articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here he is with a couple other Leatherface figures, with some Hasbro and some Mattel, with some imports, with some monsters. Finally, with articulated icons, Oni and yours truly in human form as a Leatherface Action Force figure. So my final thoughts on the 1/12 Collective Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface figure from Mezco is that this is a phenomenal figure. I've got to say, I do see what a lot of people see and what in Mezco and why they have such a strong following. There's just like, the details are pretty much immaculate. The accessories are damn near overwhelming. Actually, they kind of are overwhelming, but in the good way. There's just so many options going on here. I really wish I hadn't popped that right arm. It actually popped out when I was getting the jacket on for the last section, so that's on me. Again, just be careful with these figures. However, they're just so good. The articulation is definitely fun, and yeah, just there's so much good stuff going on. Honestly, if you are a Texas Chainsaw Massacre / Leatherface fan as I am, you cannot do better than this figure. No company I've seen so far has really topped this, and it honestly would take a lot for that to happen. So yeah, I cannot recommend this enough if you're a horror fan, if you're a Texas Chainsaw fan, if you are a Leatherface fan. So yeah, in terms of availability, it's available on various online shops. Obviously, Mezco doesn't go into retail shops or standard retail shops, but you might find this in collector shops as well. So I wish you the best of luck, and I'll have links in the description below, links in the description below for you to pick one up if you are so inclined. So that being said, thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this informative and somewhat entertaining, and if you did, hope to see you back, because I do multiple reviews a week of action figures related to tokusatsu, dinosaurs, monsters, pro wrestling, and more. Hopefully doing more horror going forward as well. So yeah, hope to see you back, and ultimately, I just hope you're well. I hope that all of your toy dreams come true, and most importantly, I hope that you and yours stay weird, simians.